Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om 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 Jnanandasya Jnananjana Chaitanya
Manavishtam Sāvitam Yena Bhutale Swarupa Kadamayam Dadāti Swapadātikam.
Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya
Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta-vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Once again, we'd like to welcome all of you to the Sunday program. I have a bad cold, so I hope you can live with that. Prabhupada, when you opened the ISKCON temple in New York, he started the Sunday program. Prabhupada knew a day would come when most of ISKCON devotees would be staying at home. So the Sunday program offers us a wonderful opportunity to get together with other spiritually kind people and to have darshan of the Lord and of course to taste Krishna prasāda. The purpose of this Krishna consciousness. Can you hear me clearly in the back? The purpose of the Krishna conscious movement is to make people happy. Prahlāda Maharaj in the Bhagavatam says, ṣaṭ-vidhaṁ pratiග්ghātam Vishnu. People do not know how real happiness can be found. But obviously, all those who are connected to ISKCON know that real happiness can only be found if we also endeavor spiritually. So, Prabhupada gave us many wonderful books in which the philosophy of pure devotional service is nicely explained. I'm going to speak from a small book called ṣaḍ-vidhaṁ, written by a great sage called Gopal Goswami. As he explained last night, Gopal Goswami and his brother Sanatan were at one time running the most opulent kingdom on the planet. But in their heart, they were dedicated to Lord Chaitanya's movement. Eventually, they both withdrew from government service and in the order of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became to Vrindavan. Lord Chaitanya instructed them to establish temples, to identify places where the Lord had performed his pastimes, and to write books on the science of devotion. The science of devotional service is something very important. So, in this book called ṣaḍ-vidhaṁ, how many of you have a copy of ṣaḍ-vidhaṁ? This is presented in English under the title of Nectar of Instruction. And believe me, it's a small book, but it has only 11 verses. But the 11 verses summarize our entire philosophy. So in the fourth verse of this small book, the book of Swami says, dadāti pratigṛhṇāti guhyam pṛcchati bhuṅkte bhojayate caiva ṣaḍ-vidhaṁ prīti-lakṣaṇam. Translation is, offering gifts in charity, accepting charitable gifts, revealing one's mind in confidence, inquiring confidently, accepting prasāda and offering prasāda, are the 6 symptoms of love shared by one devotee and another. You want to repeat after me?
Yes.
It's a very nice verse. Offering gifts in charity,
Offering gifts in charity,
accepting charitable gifts,
Accepting charitable gifts.
revealing one's mind in confidence,
Revealing one's mind confidence.
inquiring confidentially,
Inquiring confidentially.
accepting prasāda,
Accepting prasāda.
and offering prasāda
Offering prasāda.
are the 6 symptoms
The 6 symptoms
of love
Of love.
shared by
Shared by
one devotee and another.
one devotee and another.
Prabhupada writes a long purport, but he says, in this verse, Rupa Goswami explains how to perform devotional activities in the association of other devotees. So in the previous verses of the small book, Rupa Goswami has already explained the qualification of somebody who wants to be a spiritual teacher. Unfortunately, in today's society, we don't carefully examine the credentials of a spiritualist. You have spiritualists in society who have a corrupt character, who are immoral, however, still they're accepted as spiritual leaders. But Rupa Goswami says, if you want to be a spiritual leader, then you should have control over mind and senses. In other words, you should be somebody with character, somebody with integrity. Is that right? Not that anyone gets up, thinks that it's lucrative business being a guru, and he starts to initiate people. So Rupa Goswami, the first one, makes this point. What are the requisites for one who wants to be a spiritual teacher? And in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Lord Chaitanya says, a spiritualist must by his behavior convey the meaning of religious principles. In other words, we should, by our behavior, demonstrate purity and spirituality. Not that we say something and do something. Is that right? That's what you expect of your leaders. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, whichever great men do, others will follow. So when the great men are exemplary, people are also exemplary. And when the great men are like today's leaders, and people are also corrupt. Is that true?
Yes.
We look forward to integrity and honesty in leadership, whether it's political or whether it's spiritual. We must, by our integrity, convey the meaning of religious principles. Once there was a young boy who was suffering from heavy diabetes. And the young boy was too attached to eating sweets. So his mother would tell him again and again, stop eating sweets, that is not good for you. But he couldn't give it up. So one day she took his son to the family guru. Said, Guruji, my son has very high diabetes and he's too attached to sweets. Please tell him not to eat sweets. The guru said, okay, tell him to come back after 2 weeks. So after 2 weeks, the mother went back with her son to the guru. And the guru said, son, diabetes is very high, sugar is not good for you, stop eating sweets. And the son said, okay, Guruji, I'll stop right away. So the mother was surprised. She said, the Guru says one word, and he stops it. And she was wondering why the Guru didn't give the same instruction earlier. So she asked the Guru, why didn't you give this instruction 2 weeks ago? Why didn't you tell my son 2 weeks ago that you should not eat sweets. And the Guru said, 2 weeks ago, I was eating sweets myself. So how could I tell him to stop? Now, I've stopped eating myself, I can tell him not to do it. So a spiritual teacher must preach by example. The Rupa Goswami, in the first verse, emphasizes the importance of the spiritualist having control of mind and senses. Then he goes on to explain how one's devotional service can be spoiled. The do's and don'ts when you buy an expensive product. Along with that, you get a manual. Is that right? And in the manual, you read do's and don'ts. Is that true? So the scriptures also give us do's and don'ts. The Rupa Goswami says, he explains the factors that can spoil one's devotional service, like overeating, over-endeavoring, wrong association. And then he goes on to explain factors that are conducive for spiritual development, like dissociation, etc. After explaining all this, Gopal Krishna proceeds to explain the 6 levels of exchanges between devotees. So what are they? Give in charity. Accept in charity gifts. Reveal one's mind. Inquire confidentially. Accept prasāda and offer prasāda. They all sound attractive, don't they? So which is the first one? It's give in charity and accept. So Srila Prabhupada, in the early days of our movement, was having a discourse to the life members of Bombay. Prabhupada started the movement first in America, and after establishing the movement in America, he concentrated on Europe. And after establishing centers in Europe, at the same time more or less, he was also concentrating on starting a preaching in India. Prabhupada would regret that the Indians are deviating from the real heritage. And Prabhupada, before coming to the West, Prabhupada labored very hard for nearly 40 years to establish Krishna consciousness in India. But unfortunately, he didn't have that much success. So it was always in Prabhupada's mind that we have to take the pure message of Krishna consciousness to India. So finally he said, in 1971, he arrived in India with Delhi, and with foreign disciples. And they started expanding the preaching. So Prabhupada started this life membership program, which is a program primarily aimed at encouraging people from society to take the Krishna consciousness, to help the movement, and at the same time, to run spiritually. So Prabhupada was giving a talk to life members. He quoted this verse, offering gifts in charity. And you may say, what do we have to give in charity? Most devotees don't have Swiss bank accounts, or maybe they have local accounts, but I'm sure in the accounts you don't have a huge balance. You may say, Rupa Goswami says, offering gifts in charity. What do we have to offer in charity? Who wants to volunteer? What do we have to give in charity?
Knowledge association.
We have to give in knowledge, the spiritual heritage, the spiritual conclusions, the spiritual philosophy. The Vedic scriptures gave us information on what should be the goal of life. Majority of the people, unfortunately, with no understanding what should be the goal of life. Rupa Goswami is not Krishna Goswami, when he met Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in a mood of humility, he said, "Hear me, please tell me, who am I? And why am I suffering from the threefold miseries of life?" So if we were to ask, "Who are you?" what will be the standard answer? Anyone want to volunteer? So you're basically servants of the Supreme Lord. And why do we have to suffer the threefold miseries? This refers to miseries caused by the mind, miseries caused by other entities, and miseries caused by material nature. Material nature strikes hard. Is that true or false? Forest fires. Can you put up a forest? Can you put down a forest fire with few fire brigades? You can't even put it, even the whole army can't put it down. You have to wait for rainfall. The forest fires, drought, floods, etc. So there's so many different types of miseries. Krishna has explained in the Bhagavad Gita, the ancient book of knowledge, that guhyam ākhyāti. The material life means misery and everything is temporary. We would like everything to be permanent, is that true? We would like our relationships to be permanent. We would like our possessions to be permanent. But does it remain permanent? Doesn't matter how powerful a dictator you may become. Is everyone's activity limited or not? It's limited. So in spite of our best efforts we grow old. You may have anti-aging shops that give you paraphernalia to avoid the appearance of old age. But do these anti-aging shops have this formula by which you can permanently stop old age? Yes? No. You can't. So in spite of various alternatives, we see that misery cannot be stopped. Old age cannot be stopped. Can anyone ever stop death? No. So the question was, how can we free ourselves from the miseries of life? So, what do we have to give in charity? Knowledge. Knowledge that is lacking. Prabhupada was giving a lecture at a major university in America. He said, in this university, is there any department that tells you what happens after death? There was complete silence. So what do we have to give in charity? Transcendental knowledge. This is the knowledge that Srila Prabhupada brought with him when he came to the West. And this knowledge is what has inspired thousands around the world to change their lifestyle. So we have in charity, we can offer in charity transcendental knowledge. And our spiritual grandfather used to say, if at all there is a shortage of anything on the planet, it's just this transcendental knowledge. You have so many schools and colleges, but very few of them offer you spiritual understanding. So what do we have in charity? We give them transcendental knowledge. And what is the essence of transcendental knowledge? What is the essence of transcendental knowledge? Who knows? The essence of transcendental knowledge is you get to serve God. The medium to serve God is the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra. The essence of the scriptures is that in this age of Kali, in which people are not by and large too inclined to spiritual life, the chanting of the holy name is our most valuable asset. This holy name descends from the spiritual world. And Rupa Goswami himself explains in text 7 of this book that the holy name of the Lord is sweet like sugar candy. Beholding the compassion of the Lord is sweet like sugar candy. The qualities of the Lord are sweet like sugar candy. But unfortunately, we can't taste the sweetness. Why? Why? Because our tongue is diseased. We are affected by vidya. The two words in Sanskrit, vidya and avidya. Vidya means transcendental knowledge, and avidya means the opposite. So because we are afflicted with avidya, just like sometimes you see, so you may have something very palatable in front of you. Because you have blisters in the tongue, you can't taste it. So due to the influence of avidya, we don't get attracted to the holy name of the Lord. I know people who are being teased for years and years, but they still can't take the chanting of the holy name. Why? We're too attracted to avidya. So, the next question is there a cure to this? In material life, you go to a doctor, he may identify the disease. But then if you ask him, is there any cure to it, sir? And what's the reply? Sorry, there's no cure. But people come and say, there is a cure. What is the cure? The cure is that if we chant the holy name regularly and attentively, then the disease of avidya get cured, and once again you will experience the sweetness of the holy name. So this is the essence of transcendental knowledge. The essence of transcendental knowledge is understanding that the medium through which you can please the Lord is chanting of the holy names of God. All the scriptures emphasize this point. Even in the Bible, there's a similar statement, thou shalt always chant the names of the Lord. So this chanting of the holy name of the Lord is a most important activity. And the holy name, where is it coming from? It's coming from the spiritual world. The holy name is not coming from the material world, it's coming from the spiritual world. Many times, people come and say, you chant the same name every day, don't you get tired? Our answer is, no, we don't get tired. Why? Because this is transcendental sound vibration. The holy name is coming from the spiritual world, and it's not different from the Lord. So this chanting of the holy name is the medium through which we can cleanse the heart. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu instructed his followers to write volumes of books, but he himself left behind only 8 verses and we identify as. So in the very first verse, he explains why, what is the benefit of chanting. And we say, Chaitanya, one benefit of chanting the holy name is it cleanses the heart. Just like you take medicine. Why you take medicine? To free yourself from the disease. Our disease is unlimited material attachments. And we need a cure. The cure is this chanting of the holy name of the Lord. Prabhupada, when he came to America, he primarily had the holy name with him. He had the ṣaḍ-vidhaṁ, first canto, printed in 3 volumes. But basically, he presented the holy name. He started chanting the holy name in the famous Tompkins Square Park. And gradually, others took to it, and the holy name spread in short time to the whole world. So this holy name is the essence of the Vedic knowledge. Nama Chintamani Krishna. The holy name is like a touchstone. Anybody who chants, knowingly or unknowingly, is going to get benefit. So what do we have to give in charity? Transcendental knowledge. Knowledge of the Bhagavad Gita. Knowledge of the Bhagavatam. And the essence is chanting the holy name of the Lord. In the Srimad Bhagavatam 6th canto, prātigṛhṇāti inquires, how can one permanently cleanse the heart? Prātigṛhṇāti was not interested in a philosophy where you sin and atone. So Sukadeva Goswami said, you can cleanse the heart by the process of pure devotional service. And he cited the story of Ajmer, in which you read the importance of chanting the holy name of the Lord. So we have to give in charity something very valuable. Many times the Mitralas say, what are these Hare Krishnas doing? Just stay all day, ring the bell. No, we're giving people very important transcendental knowledge. And ISKCON is more like an educational institution where people are being trained in the higher values of life. We have primarily two types of knowledge in society. Material knowledge and spiritual. Material knowledge is available in almost every corner of the globe. Every corner of the globe, usually schools and colleges. But spiritual knowledge is being released through very few sources. So this spiritual knowledge should be broadcasted to every town and village. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Jaya Dagataya Gao. Where you see, he is given knowledge about Krishna. It doesn't matter which ISKCON temple you go to around the world. You get the same message. It's not that in Washington you're being given a certain message and New York gives a different message. The same message, goodbye, where Prabhupada gave us nothing but the absolute pure knowledge. So 6 rasas can in practice only do for you. One is give charity. So we give in charity transcendental knowledge. We give in charity knowledge that can really help you and free you from the cycle of working back. By and large, people today are drinking poison, and the spiritualists, they beg them, please don't drink poison, drink nectar. Those who are fortunate, they say, yes, you're right, I'm going to change my lifestyle. And those who are unfortunate, they say, get lost. Let us continue with the style we have. So we give in charity transcendental knowledge. Now we give in charity transcendental knowledge, maybe in the form of books, and most of you know, Prabhupada translated nearly 90 books, and he gave great importance to reading and distributing these books, only because it has valuable information. So we give in charity transcendental knowledge. And what do we accept in exchange? We accept in exchange gifts in charity. And it may be formed of donation, etc. That's whatever they give, we accept to run the Krishna consciousness movement. But that's not the end. Reveal your mind and take instruction. Now our mind may have many doubts. We may have many questions. But we can reveal our mind. But who should you reveal your mind to? That's a real question. If you read the Bhagavad Gita, you will notice that Arjuna is constantly asking questions. Alright?
Yeah.
Constantly. So someone may say, why should Arjuna, an eternal companion of the Lord, had to ask these questions. And one question he asked is, how is one compelled into sinful acts? I mean, unwillingly. So Arjuna was asking questions on our behalf, for our benefit. Arjuna is an eternal companion of the Lord. There's no question of his being bewildered. But Arjuna asked these questions for our benefit so that we could correct ourselves in some way. Similarly, in the Srimad Bhagavatam, we see so many questions being asked. Prīti-lakṣaṇam, for example, was cursed to die in 7 days. So Prīti-lakṣaṇam called all the great sages and presented a simple question. What should one do who is about to die? It's a question that we should all be asking. So it's not that Prīti-lakṣaṇam didn't know the answer. He knew the answer, but he wanted to ask the question for our benefit. So we see in the Bhagavatam also questions and answers. The sages in Namashranya assembled and they were inquiring from Sutta Goswami. So to ask questions is not embarrassing. Sometimes we feel, oh, if I ask questions, they'll think I'm very neophyte. We should reveal our mind. Ask questions. But ask questions to the right personality, not just anyone. When you want to do some medical work, you just don't catch a man on the street and tell him, here's a knife, operate. When you want a lawyer, you don't say, just catch anyone on the street and say, what should I do? You go to the appropriate authority. So similarly, over here, Rupa Goswami is explaining one of the exchanges with devotees is to reveal our mind to those who are more advanced. We can possibly have 3 levels of association. A, association with those who are more advanced. B, association with those who are equally advanced. C, association with those who are what?
Less
Less
advanced.
advanced. How do we behave in these circumstances? When you have the opportunity to associate with those who are more advanced, you should become joyful because you're going to hear something that's going to nourish your life. In the Bhagavatam example is cited, peacocks when they see clouds for the first time in a rainy season, they dance in ecstasy. So when you associate with somebody more advanced, you can reveal your mind to him and ask him confidently. If you have doubts of the philosophy, sure, clarify your doubts. Ask questions, Prabhupada often said, is a sign of intelligence. If you have questions, ask those who are more advanced. But ask them only if you're also going to respect the instruction. There's no point in going and saying, these are my doubts, but I'll end up do what I want to do. Ask questions and accept instruction. And that is how one can advance spiritually. But to ask questions is not a sign of foolishness. Rather, the other way around is a sign of intelligence. So one is give in charity, accept charity. You give in charity, transfer knowledge, and we accept in return whatever they give, and we use to facilitate the expansion of preaching. I think now we are embarking on a project to build a temple. So what's the purpose of the temple going to be? The purpose of the temple is going to be to attract more people to the path of Krishna consciousness. Prabhupada used to say, I can sit underneath a tree and chant. I don't need a big temple. The temple is for the benefit of society. So they have a nice place where they can come and sit and listen to the philosophy. So we give in charity, and what do? As I've mentioned today. If we have doubts, questions, confusion on issues, we go to somebody who is more advanced. Not just anyone. Sometimes we have a habit of just going to those who are also having spiritual trouble and ask them questions. you get what you want to hear, and you thereby become big. If you want to ask questions, ask to those who are spiritually disciplined and who have spiritual character. Then it says, except prasāda, no for prasāda. No Krishna conscious activity is complete without prasāda. Prasāda means mercy of the Lord. Prabhupada, when he opened the first temple in New York, he would personally cook the Sunday feast. Can you imagine? First, devotees didn't know anything. He wished he taught them everything. Prabhupada, after studying Krishna consciousness in various parts of the world, he concentrated on solitude. At that time, there was a very big, what you call, Eastern Bloc. I don't know if you remember, which included many communist countries, where religion was more or less banned. So Prabhupada went to Soviet Union in 1972, just for 5 days. And within 5 days, one Russian became a disciple. And Prabhupada, in a brief period of 3 days, so he met him on the third day. In 3 days, trained him up in everything. How to wear a dhoti, how to chant, how to cook, how to preach. So, and then he left. So we accept Krishna prasāda. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, we should eat Krishna prasāda. And when we eat food that is not offered to the Lord, what does he do? He's eating only sin. So we have this wonderful Krishna prasāda. I've had instances around the world where I've met people who are very opposed to our philosophy. But the prasāda, their hearts would melt. I was once in a Muslim country, and our host had invited a journalist. The journalist was very critical as to why we were preaching Krishna consciousness in a Muslim-oriented country. So rather than argue, we just gave him a nice prasāda. And when he got the nice prasāda, he stopped criticizing and came back the next day and gave him more prasāda. So we accept prasāda. That's our first principle. We accept only Krishna prasāda. And as Thakur Bhaktivinoda says, the Lord is so kind that He gives us this Krishna prasāda. So prasāda means food offered to the Lord. Patsam puspam param soyam. Krishna tells us what you can take and what you can't take. So we accept prasāda. Amongst Vaishnavas, they often invite other Vaishnavas for prasāda. A Vaishnava who doesn't invite other Vaishnavas is not the best Vaishnava. And a Vaishnava who invites others, gives them prasāda, is getting unlimited mercy of the Lord. In every ISKCON temple, we have the Sunday feast, and Prabhupada wanted in every major temple. Everyone who comes in should have the opportunity to eat Krishna prasāda. Like in India, the 7 temples like Balaji, it doesn't matter how many people go, they get served with Krishna. So we serve prasāda and we serve prasāda. Like in our temples, we cook prasāda and serve prasāda. So these are the loving exchanges amongst the devotees. Now, Prabhupada says, these exchanges are also being realize the material society. Like a businessman, he wants to strike a business deal. He wants to cultivate a customer. What do? Go to the restaurant, invite people for dinner and lunch. Is that right? Some people invite people to the golf courses, make deals on the golf course. So it's like a socialize. So our socializing is spiritual. We don't materially socialize. We socialize so that we can achieve the goal of life. The Rupa Goswami talks about these 6 rasas on the devotee. And by practicing these rasas, you can make spiritual advancement. Actually, the sharing of the holy name not only cleanses the heart, but also gives you ultimate spiritual happiness. And on the buddhi, one of the benefits of chanting holy name is you get unlimited spiritual happiness. Where Pratigṛhṇāti says, we're all looking for happiness, we don't know how to find real happiness. So if you want real happiness, here is the path. Chant the holy name. And chant the holy name with determination. Not that someone criticizes you and you stop chanting. And this chanting of the holy name is coming from the spiritual book. So Rupa Goswami in this verse is offering us knowledge how to cultivate different relationships with other devotees. So to summarize, what are the 6 rasas? 1, give in charity. So what do you have to give in charity? Either the Hare Krishnas or paupers. So what do we have to give in charity? Knowledge. And what do we get in exchange? Some gifts. We make people life members, we give them our books, and they offer us something in exchange to facilitate the working of the society. Then what else? You bring your mind to those who are more advanced. When you have doubts, remove your doubts with a weapon of knowledge. To have doubts is nothing unusual, but we should eliminate the doubts according to scriptures. We do that with the assistance of somebody who is more advanced in faith. And then what's the next rasa? Serve prasāda and eat prasāda. We serve prasāda to our guests, to our friends, our relatives. We offer them prasāda. We accept and we also give. It should not be, I only accept prasāda when I don't give prasāda. It should be a mutual exchange. So Rupa Goswami says, if we cultivate these loving rasas, relationship with other devotees, we will be able to make spiritual advancement. Prabhupada says, the International Society for Krishna Consciousness was formed to facilitate these 6 rasas among devotees. So, ISKCON is creating a family of devotees, and in order to have a good relationship with other spiritualists, these 6 rasas are strongly recommended. Rupa Goswami has given us many wonderful pieces of literature, and in these literatures, he gives us guidance as to how we can lead a successful life. So we want to thank all of you who have been supporting the temple throughout, our regular visitors to the temple. Mainly, as we said earlier, those who are attracted to Bhakti Yoga come to ISKCON temple. And ISKCON is presenting the unadulterated, pure philosophy for being happy. Please take to Krishna consciousness, practice these 6 rasas, and you'll lead a happy life. Hare Krishna.